Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine Solomon. I am a licensed therapist and a virtual coach, and I love getting to help couples connect more, communicate more, and overall have a healthier relationship. Before I jump into today's video, please like this video and subscribe so that you can make sure and catch all of the next videos that are coming out soon. Today we're going to talk about the 5 love languages. This is not really like a new concept. It's definitely been around for many years, but I think sometimes because of that, people have heard about it and sometimes we forget to go back to the foundation and the roots of what really makes a good relationship. And so that's why I want to talk about it today. So if you're unfamiliar, there's been a lot of research done by Dr. Gary Chapman, who basically figured out that there are 5 main ways that people like to receive love best. So essentially, different people with different backgrounds and different personalities like to receive love in different ways. By learning to recognize the preferences in yourself and in your significant other, it can help you really connect more. And when you're able to love each other in a really personal way like that, it also helps to reduce conflict. Now, this is different than how someone might most naturally give love. We're really focusing on how a person likes to receive love. Again, knowing this helps you to more effectively care for your spouse. You can think about it like this. Let's say one person gets a gift, like flowers or a necklace or something for their wife. And their wife appreciates it, but really what would just make them feel so loved is if a chore around the house was done, because maybe their love language is acts of service. So it's just really good to be able to know more about your spouse through the love languages. I'm going to share all 5 of the categories with you, some description and examples, and then I'm also going to give you a free quiz in the description so that you can take it and more accurately figure out what your love language is. So just to go over all 5 of them really quickly, there is acts of service, physical touch, gifts, words of affirmation, and quality time. So let's dive in a little bit more. I want to talk first about acts of service, which is my love language. For a person with this as their top love language, it basically means that they receive love best when someone does something for them, like a chore or something that is maybe on their list that's stressing them out. Some kind of act of service really brings them the most love. They are more actions over words kind of people. Also, taking initiative and just doing something really practical speaks volumes to a person with a love language of acts of service. For me personally, I feel so loved and so appreciated when my husband, does some kind of chore around the house, or if he runs an errand that I don't have time for or that I'm stressing about. Or even if we run errands together, it feels more like quality time, which is my second top love language. And so it just feels less like a chore, and it just really means the world to me, honestly. Especially now that we're parents, we have a 1.5-year-old son. Let's be real, things are just messier. So it just really helps me feel more calm and at home when our home is less cluttered and stressful or whatever. And so it just means a lot when my husband helps pick up things and tidy and clean up, and all of that really feels like we're on the same team. And so again, that just means a lot. So here's a couple other examples for you to consider to love someone best in this way. You can do a task without being asked, right? Dishes, laundry, going to the store, anything like that would be great. Taking something off their mental load, that is huge. Hey, I'll handle dinner tonight. Or, if there's something that that's specifically stressing them out about a holiday coming up or whatever, telling them that you're going to execute, start to finish, whatever that thing is. You could even take it a step further and just ask in general what is taking up the most of their mental space, and then you kind of take over that thing on a regular basis. That would be huge. You can help with anything related to your children, right? Really showing up as a partner, tackling bedtime, anything like that would be great. You can pay attention to complaints about certain things that might bother them. Like if a door is squeaking and it's driving them crazy, or a light bulb went out and that needs to be taken care of. Just seeing a need and filling it is, again, a huge way to show someone love in this way. Running errands for them, things like that. The second love language, and my second to top one, is quality time. So somebody that has this as their top love language, it means that they love spending time with you, with their significant other. It just means so much. And I want to highlight that it's called quality time, not just time. There's a difference in what makes it quality. And sometimes that is person to person. Sometimes that really means your undivided attention. So like your phone is put away, you're making eye contact. Sometimes it's doing something more special, like going someplace that you've never been before, trying a new restaurant, a new coffee shop, going on a nature walk if you really love being outdoors. I think it's also important to note that this can change season to season, and not necessarily like spring, fall season, but like your season of life, right? So quality time before kids sometimes looks different, and you might want something different than after kids. Or even like early postpartum. For an example, like after we had our son, I still wanted to spend time one-on-one with my husband, but maybe I wasn't feeling very energetic because, hello, newborn life, you just don't get a lot of sleep. And so we just wanted to like go to a coffee shop and like sit, but it was still good to just like have that time together without, chores in the forefront of our brain or other things just like getting in the way of us getting to connect one-on-one. It's never a bad idea to ask somebody who has a love language of quality time, like, hey, in this season, how can I love you best? Other components of making it really like quality time is when you're having good conversation, like asking follow-up questions. You could get like connect cards and just like ask random questions, things that like you don't talk about on a day-to-day basis, but help you like get to know each other better. Like I mentioned before, maybe less phone usage, eye contact, holding hands, just like really leaning into, I want to love you during this time. Some other ways that you can do this is you can plan intentional dates. Thinking ahead helps the other person feel like, wow, they want to spend time with me and they're thinking about it, and that really would go a long way. Take walks together. That's like one of my favorite things with my husband and I, because our son is quiet during these walks, and so it's a great opportunity. We're outside getting fresh air and we're getting some exercise in, but also we're just talking, processing life. So that's a really easy, free activity as well that can make your time together quality. You could just sit with them while they decompress, just like hang out with them. It doesn't necessarily have to be out of the house or like super extravagant. You also could do, like I said, a new activity, a new coffee shop. Really, it just depends on what they want, what your budget is, and even like how much time you have. I think sometimes people think quality time means it has to be like hours or an entire weekend, and like that is not the case. It can be as small as it needs to be, but as long as it's actually really quality time, that will mean a lot to them. The third love language is words of affirmation, and this is my husband's top love language. So with a person that has this as their top love language, it basically means that they receive love best with encouragement, with acknowledgement about how much you appreciate and how much you love them. Like your words showered over them mean so much. And on the flip side, because that means so much to them, if you say a lot of negative things, if you, kind of like criticize their character, that will really hurt, because obviously that's the opposite of feeling loved. And so I think it's important to kind of recognize specifically with this love language how important and how good positive words really do for them. So here's some examples for you. You can focus on appreciating their efforts. Hey, thanks so much for taking care of the kids. That really meant a lot so that I could go hang out with my friends. Or, hey, thank you so much for cleaning the kitchen. It looks amazing. I really appreciate that all the work you've been doing on our flower bed, like the roses look so beautiful, right? Like appreciating all the things that they do. You can encourage their confidence, saying like, I love watching you when you get to cook and you're baking, like you're in the zone, and it's just like so cute to watch you do that. Or thank you just so much for how you support me, for helping me with my business or helping me on a day-to-day basis with whatever I need. Just like really speaking to how you think they're doing a good job. That would really be a good way to show them love. It's also great to acknowledge their strengths. If this is a husband, telling them that you see how they provide for your family, how you love their leadership, how you're so thankful that they're the man of the house, like that you feel safe and provided for, just like all of those things would really encourage them. It's also really great to show this or like give your words to them in a variety of ways, right? Text messages is great, but maybe getting a card and like actually writing it out, or a sticky note and putting it in a book that they're reading or under their keyboard, like something that they'll find later. Putting a sticky note on their mirror that they're gonna see when they brush their teeth. A longer text message, like something that's more in depth that has like 4 or 5 sentences versus just like thanks. Even like stopping them, like you could go behind them and wrap your arms around them with like a little back hug and just like Tell them how much you're so thankful for them. Make eye contact. Like, there's a lot of different ways to really be intentional versus like, oh yeah, I say thanks all the time. So it's like kind of going above and beyond to really, really help them see and understand how much you appreciate them with your words. The fourth love language is physical touch, and this one's pretty self-explanatory, but I do want to highlight that it's definitely not all in a sexual or intimacy kind of way. You need to love them outside of that as well. I would say especially for women, if this is their top love language, people don't want to just be pursued to get some, right? You need to hold their hand, or like I said earlier, wrap your arms around them in like a back hug, or give them a massage or a foot rub. Do other things that help them feel that closeness physically, but it doesn't always have to mean more. It definitely can, and it should. Like, that's still part of a marriage relationship, but I think it's important to highlight that it's not just that way. The reason sometimes that this is a top love language is because it can feel really like reassuring. Sometimes it can help people's body like physically feel calmer and less stressed if you're physically connected to your spouse in some way. So there's lots of different ways that you can do that. And I think sometimes it's even helpful to think back, like when you were dating. Did you always reach for their hand when you were going for a walk and when you were driving? Do you still do that now? If you're walking, did you ever wrap your arms around them? Like, get creative if you realize maybe you haven't been showing them love in this way, but there's lots of different ways that you can do that. And the last love language is gifts. So with this specific love language, a person who receives love best through gifts, it means that they care about you thinking of them. If you see something at the store, if you are on vacation and you bring them a souvenir, it's like the thought really counts with this one, and being intentional. You could bring home their favorite snack just because, or you could write a card for them. Like, I know that some of these love languages will overlap, but just thinking like, how can I make them feel seen in like a tangible way is a really great way for you to approach giving someone a gift. You could surprise them with some flowers or light a candle for them. Remember, special dates and anniversaries and things like that is usually important to someone with the love language of gifts. I would say playing an activity is great. I know that one definitely blends with quality time, but like for me, for example, I really love activities or experiences. So for me, like, I wouldn't necessarily want just like a random gift. Like, I think the thought is important to like recognize, but doing something together because it blends with quality time is great. So again, asking them the kinds of gifts that they like, or like, paying attention to what's going on in their life. If they're more stressed, they might really need for someone to notice them in a gift form. And so that might be a really good opportunity and time to do that. So if you are not really sure what your top love language is, I definitely encourage you to take the free quiz. It's like super simple. The link is in the description for you to take it. And if your spouse wants to take it, I would love for you to send it to them. I think it's always helpful to, like, if you think you know what it is, or it's been many years since you've taken it, just take it again. See if anything has changed. I know that sometimes, with parenthood or different stages and things that we go through in life, our love languages can change. And so it definitely can't hurt just to brush up on what each of the love languages are and make sure that you know yours and you know your significant others. I hope all of this outlined helped you to get a better idea of how you can love your spouse in a more specific way. If you're like me and you thrive on practical take-home activities or things that you can do, definitely take advantage of all the examples that I gave you in the video. But also, I have a 30-day couples connection challenge. Again, the link is going to be in the description, but I think you would love going through the challenge. So every day for 30 days, you would get an email with an activity or a prompt to complete. And all of the love languages are weaved in. So it's not going to be like a big deal if your significant other is just one love language. Like, they're all going to be woven in, as well as really important healthy components of healthy communication. They're going to be in there, helping you argue less, connect more, all the things. So definitely would check out joining that challenge. Life is busy and full, and so sometimes it can just feel like you're going through the motions, and you can kind of slack a little bit on showing your spouse love in this way. And so that's why this challenge exists. You'll flex those relationship muscles and really strengthen the connection between the two of you. Don't worry about if you're traveling or you're busy or whatever the case is. I definitely get it. Every time I create a challenge, I go through it too, because I want to know what it feels like to be on the receiving end of getting those emails every day. And so I really make sure that the activities are easy to complete, but really will make a big impact. And it's like a domino effect, because you will see the increase in the connection in the way that you see your spouse and the way that they see you as you go along throughout those 30 days. All right, that is all I have for you today. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe so that you can catch all of the next videos, and I will see you next time.